Good morning, everyone. We're Team Asheville, and my name is Sophia Chan.
I'm Parsa Hedge.
I'm Walter Marr. I'm Remos.
We're really excited to present our idea to you guys today. So I thought it would have picked up by now. Among our conversations that we've had with several community members, this quote stood out amongst the rest because we feel that it epitomizes the fractured relationship that we have noticed between the event center and downtown Rocky Mount. While the event center does a great job at bringing in hosts of people with sports events and other such things, there seems to be a missing step, a missing link that allows the downtown to capitalize upon this influx of visitors. And so something that we've noticed is that there seems to be this kind of fractured relationship where it seems that the visitors of the event center are deterred from entering the downtown Rocky Mount and being able to stimulate business, being able to bring foot traffic to allow these businesses to really begin stimulating, to begin growing, and begin sustaining.
And so when we took a walk down from the event center to downtown, we kind of identified 3 different communities and stakeholders. The first, of course, being the event center that brings in thousands of new folks every single week to Rocky Mount downtown. And then also, of course, the downtown small businesses. When we got to downtown, although not too many, there is a variety in restaurants, cafes, and retail stores. One unique thing we noticed is there's actually a very prominent Christian community in Rocky Mount, with over 40% of the population, in fact, being Christian. And we saw this in the churches upholding much of downtown's charm as we walked through. So that begs the question, how can we connect these 3 community groups and build a dynamic downtown community for Rocky Mount? Currently, downtown is unfamiliar for many folks. But interestingly enough, the Christian community is really familiar. That's a system that is working. It's uniting all of Rocky Mount community together, and they're able to build a community around that. So our proposal is, let's connect downtown and the event center through this strong Christian community.
And this is where worship meets local flavor. Our solution to this problem is to have non-denominational Christian worship services held at the event center the first Sunday of every other month. These worship services will be followed by a brunch and social gatherings. Our hope would be for these brunches to be catered by these local restaurants and for local businesses to be interwoven with these social gatherings, tabling their products. This would bring that large demographic of the Christian community to the event center to mingle and interact with the local businesses of downtown. When we were walking through downtown and interacting with community members, we learned that typically on Sundays, many businesses and restaurants are shut down. This is partly in fact due to the importance placed on religion in Rocky Mount and people's respect for the Sabbath. This would bring together the Sundays with the businesses, allowing the businesses to have a few more hours to be open on these days they typically wouldn't. It also allows them to engage with their community and meet more people that they might not typically meet otherwise, and bring them together for potential new customers. Our hope would be that these customers that meet them at these Sunday church services and brunches, that these relationships would continue outside of Sunday, and that this is where they would learn about the restaurants and businesses and then take that into the week and into the month. It really just provides the local businesses an opportunity to engage with this very large demographic, and this will all be made possible through the event center.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to how we're actually going to implement things like this, and with that comes 2 main parts. One, like we talked about, there's a large Christian community in Rocky Mount, and with that comes a lot of different churches that people go to, a lot of different individual church communities that people are a part of, and being able to coordinate that organization and attention effort across all those different church communities is really important to make an event like this happen. And that comes with 2 main parts on that front. One was actually marketing this event and getting their individual members to come out to the event. And then the second part of that is being able to actually pay for the catering in the event space within the event center on behalf of the churches. So obviously churches have more financial power and being able to do that and leverage their money in order to pay for the event center and the actual catering is something that would be really beneficial in being able to put this event on and actually getting members to come out to the event center. The second part of this is being able to coordinate and leverage that connection that is currently lacking between downtown businesses and the actual event center itself. Like we talked about, we want downtown restaurants to be able to cater, being able to draw attention from that unified Christian community that is going to come to the event center, getting attention to those businesses, allowing people to potentially even go downtown moving forward. And then also with the event center and actually helping the churches to market the event as well, with the various events and sports games that they put on, putting on flyers around the event center, getting a large community to come out to the event. Again, catering towards that very familiar Christian community that Rocky Mount is already very, very heavily invested in.
And so with our solution, we hope to make the downtown unfamiliar seem very familiar through faith and the event center. So thank you so much.
Very good presentation, very creative. I like how you pulled together the faith community, small business, linking it to the event center. I like the idea having service once a month or every other Sunday. Typically, like you have the first Fridays in downtown, where you have people to come and socialize and have hors d'oeuvres or whatever. I don't think it would be. Well, I guess we can have communion, if you know what I'm talking about, libation. But to take that history of the churches, as you walk down Church Street, you saw a lot of historic churches that's been in downtown, probably since downtown, and to link them to what is actually happening downtown, I think is a wonderful idea. A lot of times, cities really don't include churches when they're in their downtown, so I think it was a very clever, a very creative idea, and I think you've done very well.
I would agree with Councilman Knight. I think it's really thinking outside the box, and the old saying, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. And we have multiple churches, within a 3 or 4 block radius of the event center. And like a lot of, I'm a member of one of the downtown churches. And at the stroke of noon, we go to our homes and eat. And I think that's a great way to get engaged and have our members of the various churches, hundreds and hundreds of members, that once every other month on a Sunday, we convene in here and have a non-denominational service and a meal afterwards. And I think people then get more comfortable with being downtown. And I think, to Councilman Knight's point, there's a misperception of a lot of crime down here. Well, frankly, the folks who create the crime go where the action is. And there ain't much action down here. So we get a bad rap with that. But this, I think, will make people possibly more comfortable in visiting downtown, which will then hopefully open more businesses and opportunities for our community.
I think it's a wonderful idea, and we got to get started somehow, and working with the downtown churches and getting it well planned together, because if a church is going to go through the expense, this is our time to furnish. There's got to be a head count or whatever. There's got to be a lot of concerted effort. Mm-hmm. But if this really takes hold, I would like to see other churches in other parts of Rocky Mount get involved.
Yeah.
And bringing them as well downtown. So, the largest church is out several miles from downtown, but they have members throughout the whole city, just like the church I go to, which is downtown. But this is great, and what Councilman Knight said, good way to bridge the community. Mm-hmm. And we need to look at the non-Christian community as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.